Thank you so much for making time for us, Fadiel. Good evening.
Very good evening to you and listeners.
Were you in possession of classified information? Because it seems like that is what General Mkhwanazi was more concerned about from his testimony today.
You know, Mkhwanazi is a man, he's a walking contradiction. I was in possession of information that was slid under my office door or found its way into my office. The information appeared to be authentic, but I could not confirm this. The best people to confirm this would be the South African Police Services. I took the information to the nearest police station and I said to them, you might want to have a look at this, and I opened the case. That's the whole story.
And what?
It's a constant.
Sorry.
It's a concern. Look, the case is sub judice, so I can only say so much, but it's a real concern to me that a police general is more concerned about where the information comes from than the actual alleged crimes in that docket. That is a real concern to me. That the same general wants to minimize the effect of alleged fraud and corruption amounting to hundreds of millions of rands, possibly, and he wants to diminish this to an HR concern. This is not an HR concern. The question I have, and I think the general must answer this, is that this is not in his jurisdiction. These alleged crimes happened in Pretoria. He's the provincial commissioner for KZN. Why is he so invested in this? Because I don't hear the provincial commissioner for Gauteng saying a word. It really boggles the mind.
So this information that came through these classified documents, you said they were slipped under your office. Are you saying that you're not able to tell us what that involved, the case that you had opened?
I would like that to come out in court, but I can tell you that it's very concerning. I can tell you that the amounts involved are huge. And I can tell you that I do believe that this whole probably goes a whole lot deeper than what it appears.
Did you
What
know?
I can tell you.
Yes, go ahead.
You go first. No, you go first.
Did you know at the time when you received that document that it was classified?
There was a number of the pages that were marked top secret. It was there. But now you must understand, I've been a member of Parliament for a whole 3 months. I'm finding my way around these buildings, finding out who's who, which commission deals with what, who you go to report, this, that, the other. I also didn't know who to trust. So I decided to take it to the authorities. Now, I can't understand why a general has a problem with me taking information to his own institution until I think about it. Because the general claims to have information that criminalizes a full minister and a full deputy national commissioner. But he didn't take it to the police station. He called a press conference. This is the same general that's demanding accountability and due process from me as an MP. But as a general, what does he do with information?
Yeah.
He sensationalizes it.
Well, to be fair, Fadiel, from what he told the commission is that he tried to speak to the National Police Commissioner. He tried to get the attention of the President. He tried to speak to the Police Minister. He went to the Portfolio Committee on Police. All those attempts had failed. And he says that's why he ended up deciding to go and hold that press briefing. But I don't want us to focus much on that because he's answering questions on that.
Just before you skip that point.
Yeah?
He can speak to whoever he wants to. What does the Corruption Act say? It says that if you are aware of criminality, it is your responsibility to lay a charge.
Yeah. And of course,
that's what he should have done.
Yeah. Well, as a member of Parliament, when you get information that's top secret, that is classified, one of the things you would do is to go to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. Why didn't you consider that option?
It didn't exist at the time, sir. That committee was only formulated a few weeks afterwards. Remember, committees were still being set up at the time.
When exactly did this information get to you?
I didn't write down the date, but I think it was early in September. But let me take it a step further.
So it was early in September What year was it? What year was it?
Last year.
What do you?
It was 2024.
So in September last year, we didn't have committees in Parliament that had formed.
No. There were committees formed, but we didn't know who was who in which particular zoo.
But you just said that you didn't go to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence because the committees had not been formed. You are saying that this information got to you in September last year.
Will you allow me to clarify?
Yes, please.
I was still finding my feet at that point. I'd just been called to the Committee for State Security. I've been brand new on the Committee for Police. I didn't even know what the JSCI was doing at the time. I took it to the police station where I'm assuming the information in here will be treated as top secret. I did not take it to the police. I did not post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think I did the responsible thing. But let me tell you this, sir. In a country where crime and corruption is rampant, and this criminality is being kept as top secret, left, right, and center, think pala. How much more of an appetite for this do South Africans have? Do we not have the right to have these things investigated? Do we not have the right to have the corruption aired? The thieves locked up? Is that not what we're about? Or am I being asked to play a part of a system that almost endorses criminality and corruption because I won't? I refuse to.
Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge that the KZN Police Commissioner mentioned earlier today. He says, after you laid these criminal cases, there are investigators that try to get a hold of you to try and get more information, and you didn't respond to their requests. Did you really get the investigators contact you and you ignored them?
So I've been contacted by the IDAC. I'd given the file to the IDAC. I was then contacted by the Inspector General for Intelligence. I gave him what I had left. And now I'm getting calls from people claiming to be policemen, wanting to meet wherever. And I said, you know what, where are you from, Johannesburg? I'll come to Johannesburg. I'm more than happy to meet you at your office. I never got a return call. Mkwanazi must not be selective in how he presents information, sir. Here's my thing. I've already given my disclosure to the IDAC. Do I need a parallel investigation? I think not. I don't know who to trust right here. This is the sad part.
Mm-hmm. So you do confirm, though, that investigators did call you to try and get more information. You just didn't trust them because you were not sure if they were legitimate.
I'd already handed over my file to the IDAC. I didn't want to meet another investigator because I didn't know who was covering for what. I didn't know who was trying to have a look at the information before the time. Please understand, this is very sensitive. And I was satisfied that I had already spoken to investigators. Why do I need to speak to another lot of investigators? Let me take it a step further for you. When I laid the charge at Grand Central Police Station, the docket was collected by the Office of the Provincial Commissioner a year ago. I've not been contacted by that office yet. Do you understand why the alarm bells were going off left, right, and center?
So the charges that you've laid, are they more to do with the vetting processes, or are there issues around the abuse? Because General Mkhwanazi doesn't seem to have an issue with mentioning what you went to the police station for. So which is why I'm constantly asking why you're uncomfortable to mention that when it's already in the public domain. Was the issue here the vetting processes, or was it an issue of the secret fund in the SAPS being abused?
One of the issues was the vetting processes and the appointment of that young brigadier from BMW, who we were told in the portfolio committee by senior policemen was above board, which I didn't believe. Secondly, it was the abuse of the COVID police fund.
Okay, so the issue... Okay, got you. The issue of vetting, which is one of them, did you raise that with the State Security Agency?
I raised it in portfolio, in the police portfolio. I also questioned the vetting of the very same policemen that are now on trial, that whether or not they had security clearances. I was told it was all above board. Apparently that was a lie as well. I also questioned the security clearance of many of our provincial commissioners. These are all the things that must come out. I, though, do take umbrage at General Mkhwanazi and the manner that he's handling this thing. Because I tell you again, this was a Gauteng issue. seeing that he's all territorial, because I heard him talk about dockets from the Eastern Cape earlier and who the dockets belong to. Why is he so invested in this case? Why is nobody going to ask that question?
Well, part of what he said before is that the political killing task team were assisting some police officers in Gauteng, and that's when there were issues now that were raised, even by these business people that are seemingly connected to some politicians. And that's where his concern arises from, that when help was sought from the political killing task team, and there were some syndicates that were being exposed here in Gauteng, that's when you started seeing the political interference.
Well, I can't speak for any other politician, but let me challenge Mkhwanazi to mention my name in the same breath as these cartels or businessmen, because I certainly never met any one of them, nor do I want to. The fact of the matter is, as a portfolio, we've debated the use of the political killing task team. My feedback on that is that it's total waste of money. On the Cape Flats, we're losing 10 boys a day, 3,000 a year. I feel that money can be directed here. The political killing task team is costing us untold millions. These people are living it up 4 and 5 star. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the costs for these 132 dockets. I say it slowly, 132 dockets. Do you understand that we'll probably lose almost 100 kids over the weekend here in Cape Town?
Yeah,
we're just saying, spend the money better. SAPS is under financial strain. Why is Mkhwanazi fighting that?
Well, here's an opportunity for you as well, Mr. Fadiel, to somehow advocate for a commission of inquiry or even for a task team of sorts that can look into those crimes that you're speaking about. Remember, it wasn't, to be fair on Mkhwanazi, it wasn't him who decided that there must be a political killings task team. It was a whole process. There was a big concern around how many politicians were dying, and even some municipal managers in KwaZulu-Natal. It was the president who said, let there be a commission of inquiry, after which there was a recommendation for there to be a political killings task team. And General Mkhwanazi and even Fani Masamula, the National Police Commissioner, seemed to be happy with the successes of the political killings task team.
So we should ask ourselves, how many years ago was that? And are the killings still happening at the same rate? And I certainly don't believe that they are. But here's what I want to tell you. A young man, I can't understand why I can't remember his name right now, an ANC councillor in KZN who could not be corrupted. He was killed. He was killed with an AK-47, bought with the same money that is found in the COVID slush fund. Why is that not being discussed? Why is Mkhwanazi not talking about that? He was a fine young man. He could not be corrupted and he was killed. Now his killer sits in Westville prison. He's spoken to me. He mentions the municipal manager from a certain municipality. He mentions a certain mayor. He was used. He says that the police, KZN police, drove him from the murder scene. He's willing to come and testify before this commission.
Have you shared this information with the police?
Yes, I've shared it in portfolio. Now hear this.
With the police? Have you
in Westville prison tonight.
Have you shared it with the police?
We are working on getting that thing out. Now, I want you to hear this because I'm telling this to the nation.
Hold on, but I think that's very important as well. I'll give you the opportunity now. You had information. One second, I'll give you a chance. You had information, you say, slipped under your door. You decided to go and approach the police station to open charges. Now, here is information where there is some level of criminality, and you choose this one doesn't deserve to be taken to the police station but deserves to be dealt with in Parliament. Where's the consistency there?
Do you not feel that we should vet this information, that we should interview this man, that we should get a written statement, that we should get a commissioner of oaths out there? Do you understand that all of this takes time?
I understand, but also I would argue that even with the information you received, which was top secret, that you could have gotten advice from even anybody in Parliament to ask, how do I deal with sensitive information like this? But you felt strongly that this is information that needs to be taken immediately to the police. And yet with this case, you thought Parliament is the first option.
So this information has all been written down, typed out, with total names and dates. It was very simple. There was nothing for me to vet. That was now a job for SAPS.
And yet it was
this young man that I'm speaking to, can I finish?
Yes,
this young man that I'm speaking to inside of prison, I need to make sure that his story checks out. I don't want to be wasting anyone's time. Nobody's given me a dossier to say this, that, and the other. Here's the ID number, here's the serial number of the gun, here's the policeman that drove him away. I don't have any of that, sir. Or would you like me to lay a charge on conjecture?
Well, I think
But just allow me to finish.
Yeah.
Allow me to finish.
Go ahead.
So in prison tonight sits Sergeant Bongi Nkosi Dlamini, arrested by the political killing task team, charged by that same task team, found guilty by a magistrate interestingly called Kumalo. He was sentenced using case law that doesn't exist. Listen to what I'm telling you. Case law that doesn't exist. Do you know who he says is behind this, all of this? He says it's the same General Kumalo that now stands before the court. This is not me saying it. This is an upstanding policeman, a man no one has a bad thing to say about. And he has been targeted by the political killing task team that General Mkhwanazi is advocating for. Now, I cannot stand for that.
And speaking of Dumisani Kumalo, this information that got through your office in Parliament, did it also involve him?
Yes.
And now there's somebody that you're speaking to who is implicating him in another wrongdoing on top of the top secret documentation that you took to the police.
I've never met that man before I saw him in prison, sir. That man reached out to me because he saw what we were busy with.
Okay.
I went out, I sat down, I listened. And we are still investigating. But what I'm saying to you is that there are more and more really, really weird things coming out the further you dig. But here is the connection that the country seems to be missing. Who was the head of the political killing task team not too long ago?
Kumalo.
Head of intelligence, Sani Kumalo.
Mm-hmm.
If you start connecting these dots, I'm not making any accusations, but start connecting these dots and see which way it goes. It becomes really, really, really fishy.
Please help us connect the dots. What do you think is the involvement of Kumalo here?
Let me tell you this. I expect to be called to court to come and testify in this case as I am the complainant. I told you at the beginning of the interview that this thing is sub judice and therefore I will choose my words very carefully for now. But let me tell you something. I don't think this country is ready for what's about to come out here. The South African police services is rotten from the head all the way down. We are appointing 29-year-old women as brigadiers. All her police experience was working for BMW. But we've got people stuck in their ranks for 30 years, honest policemen. We are buying cars, we are buying hotels, things we shouldn't be buying with taxpayers' money. And this is what I'm fighting. And you know what? In return, I'm getting, let's just say I'm taking flack from a police general who should know better.
Well, Fadiel Adams, thank you so much for speaking to us. I really appreciate your time.
I just want to say shout out to Clement Manyathela for exposing Fadiel Adams, because what he was trying to achieve, I don't know, by taking those documents to the police station, because whatever he did with those classified documents, it's either somebody was using him to achieve a certain goal, but whatever plan that was there did not work. Now, what Clement has done to this guy, he has utterly destroyed this guy, because what I learned from Clement, he gave this guy to tie himself with his own rope and lie at the same time, not realizing that he was lying. When he was caught up on his own lies, he started to talk about Palapala, doing all this kind of things about people who are being killed wherever they are killed, and ways exposing himself. You know, people, they join politics or they do things without understanding what they are really doing. But what Clement did there, he showed them that this guy in politics, he is not matured. He doesn't understand. He doesn't even understand his own story. He just talk and fumble without realizing that what he is saying tomorrow, it will be a problem to him. Because, in fact, in what he did, if he can be called in the Madlanga Commission, he will be more exposed. Because I remember in the committee, I think it was the portfolio committee, where he came out blazing about Mkhwanazi, saying a lot of things about Mkhwanazi. And I was like, why this guy, when most of the MPs there were just trying to understand how they can bring out Mkhwanazi, so that they can get exactly what he meant in that press conference. But for him on that day, he was just kind of like, oh, this Mkhwanazi is this. And now that Mkhwanazi has brought his name in the Madlanga Committee of Inquiry, it is a problem for him, because now I think he knew that he was going to be exposed for what he did, because Mkwanazi is a well-trained somebody. When he investigates, he comes with receipts to prove his evidence. If he doesn't have a receipt, he has somebody to back him up with the receipts, because as he is doing this job, he is working with the team, collaborating with his team, so that whatever the evidence they collect, they sit down, they discuss everything, they come to a certain conclusion that this is what we are getting. Because it's not like what we have seen in this case of Senzo Meyiwa, where by Brigadier Gininda has been trying to say he investigated. It's totally different, because when cross-examination came up in the Senzo Meyiwa case, these people were investigating the same case. They were speaking in folk tongues. One was going the other way. Everything you will get it from the lead team. I don't know how everything. Even when they were asked, at some point, when you collect evidence as you are working as a team, did you come and sit down together and analyze that kind of evidence? All of them were saying, we've never sat down because we had a lead team, whatever. You can't. In an investigation, when you work as a team, you sit down, whatever investigation one, either of you collect evidence, whatever, then you come and bring the evidence. Then you sit down, you discuss the evidence, you analyze it. Like Mkwanazi, when he's testifying there in the Malanga committee, he is, wherever he doesn't have receipts, he always say, everything that I'm not backing it up with my receipts now. The team, because we're working as a collective, my team, they're still coming to testify. Whatever that question that you are asking, you will get it from the team as they were working as a collective. That is how. Not this guy who just was, how on earth, in the same offices wherever he was, somebody come and push something under his door, a very sensitive document, classified, knowing that it was classified, instead of getting the committee there that deals with classified documents to understand, because he should have asked anybody there, but he decided to go to the police station for his own reason, whatever he was planning. But when he got there, he hit the rock, and when he hit the rock, he realized that now I'm in between the surface and earth. I've got no way to breathe now. How do I go about it? They tried to call him, to talk to him. He decided not to go back. What was the reason for him going to the police station to register a certain case? Because that case is an answer that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi did mention that that case is not an answer. They try to get this guy to understand exactly what exactly were you trying to do here? Where is the case? What are you trying? He did one in Cape Town, again going to Soweto. Same thing he's doing the same. Oh, but thank you for Clement Manyathela for exposing this guy, because sometimes people, they just want to be leaders and they want to be into politics, not even understanding the politics, how they work, just because these are the people that at some point, if they can taste power, they can be a serious problem. That is what we do. Because in politics, you have to understand, you have to know your story. Whenever you sit in front of any journalist or whoever is across or asking you certain questions, know your story, what you are talking about. Don't flip flop or you say this at the same time you're saying the other thing. You don't even remember what you have just said now, like he did. He said the committee was not established. Then when Clement Manyathela followed up, now he's skipping, he's starting to jump. Now I didn't say this. Whenever he said, it's just kind of like you can't deal with people like Clement Manyathela. Clement Manyathela may Tsidi rest in peace, because some people like Clement Manyathela, Tsidi, Madi, those people, you don't come to them with a story that is not complete, because they will crush you. This is exactly what happened. I think he has to go and take time and just go and listen to himself, whatever he said there, then and start to learn how to. At some point, people, they go into the media or they attend to calls because of pressure. They don't take their time and say, okay, this has just happened. Let me cool down. Let me try to get some advice. This is what has happened. How do I answer when they call me? Get people to help you out, because in this world, we learn every day. It's a learning curve in each and everything that we do. We learn each and every time. Nobody knows anything. So, family, what do you think about Clement Manyathela? I want to say bravo to Clement Manyathela for doing what he did, because we need people like Clement Manyathela who are going to show these people the way that what you are doing, you think you are doing something good when you are destroying yourself, and you even destroying other people's life for no apparent reason. Family, drop your comment respectfully and shout out to Clement Manyathela for being a brave guy. I've followed this guy for some times, and whenever he has an interview, or I've watched so many interviews whereby when he question people, he don't joke, because he knows his story. If you try to bend something, he will try and bring you straight. Bravo to Clement Manyathela. Bravo, bravo.